Hi, and welcome back to the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗀 podcast. My name's Chris, and I am joined by none other than JB. How are you, JB?
What's going on, guys? All good here. Nice, relaxing day studying as I said I was going to do, and I am continuing to do so. How are you today, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a very busy day as it normally is. But yeah, look, we've released a new course. I think you've been uh, doing that, maybe possibly even completed it already, which is great. Which was the risk management course for cryptocurrency. So yeah, how did you find that one, I guess?
Yeah, I went into it with open mind. Obviously, I feel I have got a good degree of risk management already. And as I quickly relayed back to you, there's a few things I picked out of the course which I didn't know at all. I didn't even think about. It's these little things that I think are going to benefit everybody that does do the course. I don't want to give too much away, but there's very obvious things in that course that you just don't think about. Things like where you have looked at and your accounts might be linked. Just one little snippet. So it's these little passages that you don't think about that are there that we need to obviously get a control of and understand when they should be there, when they shouldn't be there. So I took quite a few good bits of knowledge away from it, and I feel vastly improved from completing the course.
Which is great. And I think, there's still a few bits that I'm going to add to the course. And obviously you get access to it for a year. So I think it notifies you when there's updates made to the course and stuff. So there'll be some additional bits that I want to add in. But yeah, look, I think it's a nice addition to the set of courses, the Elliott Wave theory, how to build a portfolio, to be successful in crypto, and now the risk management. And it's really off the back of what was said when we did the previous podcast, which was I guess everybody was quite aligned to the fact that 2022 was definitely a year of learning. And we should take some of those lessons learned, we should put it into some sort of format that helps people in the future not sort of lose money and learning that way, and learn from the experience of many in 2022, I kind of feel. So yeah, a couple of extra downloadable pieces at the end as well, which will help you sort of just make sure that you've got good management processes in place to be successful with your crypto investments. So yeah, excited to get feedback on that one.
Yeah, one thing I want to obviously pick up off the back of this, that's all three courses. I have completed them now. So we had obviously the Portfolio Builder, Elliott Wave course, and now the Risk Management course. Three courses that are obviously ridiculously cheap. I've relayed that to you already. I think they're seriously undervalued for what they are. So much information and the amount you learn in such a short time. The risk management course isn't even that long. I don't feel it's very long at all. It's probably completable in an evening or a nice early morning or whatever you fancy, but the value of these courses is unbelievable on the basis that you don't have to be new in the space, you could be experienced in the space, and there's still things you just don't know. Elliott Wave, how many people in the world actually know Elliott Wave, understand it to its fullest extent? Not very many, I don't think. So all these courses that you guys are putting together, I think obviously benefit the community so much, and there's more to come.
Yeah, and I would say jump into the Discord, find out more about it, and hear the thoughts of the community that have taken part in these courses, because it's all well and good us saying how good we think the courses are, but I think it's more impactful when the community, at their free will, talk about how they benefited from said course. So definitely worth doing that, and asking and getting people's feedback. We are actually putting a trust pilot together so people can put how they actually found each and every course when they complete it. So these sorts of things should be really, I guess, helpful when you start to look to see if it's something that you're interested in. But we've got lots to cover today. Do you want to sort of kick us off?
Christ, where are we going to start today? There's so much news that's happened in such a short period of time that we've picked up. I think I'll start off with Amazon today. They were seeing obviously news that Amazon are going to be laying off 18,000 employees. But in wonderful fashion, they will not tell who is being released until January 18th. So it's going to be a 2-week period until employees know whether they're going to have a job or not. Then off the back of that, we're also seeing the first ever strike for Amazon. So the G&B union members at the Coventry warehouse, excuse me, they're going to do a historic landmark for Amazon and strike on the 25th of January. Now, this was led to believe it was all to do with people getting laid off. It's not. It's about pay disputes. Yet again, another massive industry underpaying their employees. There's not even an argument there at all. So yeah, there's a couple of big firsts coming out for Amazon there, and yet more job losses, which, you know, it's leading us into the recession that's obviously impending.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people, particularly in the crypto space, that are very much of the opinion that, we're all, the bottom's in, apparently. Like, this is some of the stuff that I've heard. But if you actually look at people that are very knowledgeable, from a macro standpoint, they're not coming out with bottoms are in and we're off to the races, or it's going to be sideways and then up. They're telling us we're doomed, like, in no other sort of I guess terminology. Like, it is very much like this is going to be the worst recession we've seen in history. So with all of that said, I kind of feel like people are very poorly positioned when it comes to taking the lead with some of the most prominent crypto influencers in the space. I think it's something that does sort of keep me up at night occasionally, because I do worry about the fact that people are gonna be on the wrong side of things. I mean, you can just look at Gemini, for example. The exchange just lost their chief operating officer, and I've mentioned that it's been very, very quiet on the whole Genesis, grayscale, Gemini kind of front, really, hasn't it, over the last few weeks, JB? And that concerns me, because I don't think that we've actually seen that fully play out yet. I do think that Genesis are going to fail in their attempts to resolve the issues that they've got. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'll comment on this as much as I can for the triple G. I keep referring to it as the three Gs: Genesis, Gemini, and Grayscale. There's so much still to come out here. No news sometimes is good news. I do agree with you in this one. I feel that no news is bad news. We don't know if they've collected the funds required to stay stable. If they have not, then yeah, I think this is an impending doom for a lot of investors, a lot of money tied up here. Even if, let's say hypothetically, they get together the money that is required, what happens next? Do people leave their money with these companies? Are they happy to invest in these companies? What happens to shareholders? There's so much that will come off the back of this. Either outcome, whether they raise the money or not, it's not good news for either of the three Gs.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think this is going to be what brings the market down to the levels that we've been discussing. I think this is I don't want to say the term black swan, because I don't think it is. We kind of know that it's there. It's just everybody's in a bit of denial that it's still there. And just because you don't hear about it anymore doesn't mean that we should be become complacent. I'm not saying this stuff to incite fear in people. I think this is just me trying to be as honest, like, all cards on the table, about how I feel people should view the market right now, and it isn't a positive way to view it. Although I do think that there's pockets of good value in the space. I think there's going to be pockets of insanely high value propositions in the coming weeks and months. I mean, Silvergate Capital tanks nearly 40% after crypto bank discloses massive fourth quarter withdrawals. I think the total deposits from digital assets customers declined to 3.8 billion from 11.9 billion in that third quarter, so a decline of roughly 68%. And I think this is something that people need to be monitoring, taking on board, and just consider why we're seeing this sort of stuff. It's one of those, for me, it's concerning stuff. I mean, just the news alone about Celsius today, like, I just feel like like we're in such a corrupt world, and hopefully things will change. But the judge
Before you jump
rules.
into this, just to touch on what you said, this isn't to like incite fear into everybody. This is the news that I feel a lot of people aren't bringing you. This is the stuff that nobody's talking about that we need to know about. So yeah, it's not to put fear into everybody watching, listening. This is to make you aware of what is going on around us and why there's further pain still to come.
Yeah, I mean, like the judge rules that Celsius users gave up their legal rights to their BTC by using the platform, and just get this, all of the $4.2 billion worth of crypto deposits is now the property of Celsius. And yeah,
Mind blown. Mind blown.
yeah, and people are getting comfortable being on exchanges. Like, you shouldn't be comfortable on these exchanges. Like, even if they're legitimate businesses that are able to, navigate this space impeccably because they actually run good business practices, good risk management, and they're not commingling funds or mismanaging customers' funds. Like, we should still not store our crypto on those platforms, in my opinion. Self-custody it.
Bitcoin Magazine, who released this on Twitter, even stated at the bottom of the article, take your Bitcoin off exchanges. Listen to these guys. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges. The risk management course, go and complete it, and you'll understand why you should not be storing money on exchanges. They're not banks, not your keys, they're not your crypto. Just off exchanges. If it has to be a hard wallet, cold wallet, whatever it must be, just get it off exchanges, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that I cover in the course is, the example of an individual that traded the market impeccably through this bear market, but they didn't have good risk management. They had all of their money that they made in this bear market on FTX. They now have no portfolio left, and that was really down to just poor risk management. That's all it boils down to.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible, absolutely awful. I thought I had really good risk management, and I got caught out with Celsius. I had 10% of my portfolio on Celsius. Now I look at that and I feel that I'd be much happier if my risk tolerance was tighter and I only had 5% on Celsius, because looking at that 10%, when I bring myself to go do that is a terrible feeling. And that was with risk management. Some people don't have any. So look, it's all about preserving capital. And I made a video that I said, people should watch this video. It's really important. This was before the FTX, collapse. This is an important video. Watch it, share it, and a lot of people that watched that video would have been able to have, at least gone away and done some research and, protected themselves a little bit better.
So one of the comments I'll pick up here on one of the previous videos, somebody actually asked what do we do about the fiat that we want to load onto exchanges before we go and make a big purchase. And it's a great question, very valid right now. Me personally, I would wait to understand where I want to buy. So obviously go back into the charts, understand where it's going, and then decide, right, this is now starting to approach the area I want to buy it. That's at the point I would load money onto the exchange. Once the buy order's hit, straight back off with the crypto into storage. It's literally as simple as that. Put the money on as soon as you're ready to buy, straight back off.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be different. Everybody's got their own risk tolerances, right? I said that I would have preferred to have had 5% instead of 10% on Celsius, right? Like, I thought I had really good risk management, and I would say actually I did have really good risk management, but it could have been tighter. I didn't realize what my actual risk tolerance really was until the risk actually transpired, and it was no longer a risk. It actually happened, right? And now looking back on it, I'm like, actually my tolerance was really 5%. So there will be pockets of people out there that will only keep 5% on a said exchange or platform, be that a trading platform or whatever. So like, I think risk management is is open and very different depending on each individual case. But
So another one to quickly run by you on this. Let's just talk USDT here. If we purchase USDT, moved it to MetaMask, it's as simple as moving it back to the exchange to purchase the crypto, then take the crypto back to, let's call it your MetaMask for now. So it would kind of be a way of getting around the issue of loading fee on exchanges, which obviously we're seeing right now is a bit of an issue. Banks don't want you to take your money out the banks and put it onto these exchanges, etc., etc. So would this be a safe enough solution to load money on, buy USDT, whatever it is you want to buy there, to store it on a wallet, then move that back to exchanges to purchase crypto?
So again, it depends on your risk tolerance. I mean, you don't even need to move it back to the exchange. You could just use a decentralized exchange, a DEX, and change it over in the actual MetaMask wallet, for example, or another wallet type.
Yeah, I think that's something we should maybe cover off a bit more here, DEXs, because we do see a lot of questions coming up about DEXs recently. So I think maybe in the future we'll look to dive into DEXs a little bit more for you guys.
Yeah, I think we can definitely do that. I think stable coins are another risk. Like this is what is good about the course, and I need to cover stable coins probably in more detail. It's one of the things I want to add to it, but just holding a stable coin also is a risk, because there's different types of stable coins. There's different I guess pieces of news, whether some's true or whether some's false is open to interpretation. So yeah, look, there's still risks in holding stable coins, because stable coins aren't fiat, right? So yeah, look, everybody's going to be different, but you really need to understand what those risks are, because there'll be lots of people be like, oh yeah, I'll just get USDT, but not realize that USDT has also got its own risks associated with it, or USDC, or an algorithmic stable coin. We've seen what's happened with a few of those over the last 12 months.
Yeah. So while we're talking about news, we're talking about exchanges, I'm going to cut us off and put us on to Coinbase here. So we're seeing Coinbase has been hit with a $50 million fine for breaching AML laws. They have also laid out an additional $50 million over the next 2 years. This is almost laughable. Over the next 2 years to better improve their practices. Obviously, this happened back in spring 2021. There was $150 million worth. I don't know how best to phrase this. $150 million worth of illicit movements all through Coinbase, and this is down to the poor management from Coinbase as to how we verify ourselves on the exchange and how we're able to move money about so easily from Coinbase. I do believe things have changed very slightly since then on their exchange, but we've also seen off the back of this as well that the CEO, Brian Armstrong, also said that they're ready for firmer, more in-depth audits to happen on exchanges, and that crypto's ready for it to happen. To me, it's very contradictory given what's just happened here. They've just paid a $50 million fine, fronted up another $50 million for the next 2 years to improve and bolster their platform, how they operate as a program. So yeah, just more FUD coming out from internals within Coinbase. I'm trying best to phrase this as nicely as possible. I don't personally like Coinbase. I don't like the way it operates. I don't like how dear it is. So yeah, a lot of money missing on the exchange, and all they have is a $50 million fine.
Which is amazing, really. But like, it's interesting because people touch on regulation, and we're going to come on to the SEC, probably segue into it from the traditional bullshit markets of the banking sector. That is, I'm just going to say it, they're regulated, right? But I think I've mentioned on a few occasions, particularly on Twitch streams, that basically I noticed that I think it was 5 or 6 banks in the last 5 months have had fines for anti-money laundering failures, basically, within processes. Santander UK, 108 million over anti-money laundering would be one. What else we got? Where's the other one? Danske Bank pays 2 billion to settle Estonian money laundering. What else we got? There's so many. Just literally over 5 weeks. HSBC, it's a common one that we see. It looks like they've just potentially paid a fine or settled in some sort of way. We've got another one here, FIAU, Malta, sorry, anti-money laundering unit. You know, I think they've paid a fine of 310,000 euros. The list goes on, right? I could go through more and more. I mean, Wells Fargo, you know, a big bank, right? Money laundering. I think they've had some issues with that, but also mismanaging customer funds. $3.7 billion fine, or group of fines for various different reasons. You know, one being something very similar to what FTX have had, and obviously now we talk about Coinbase. You know, like this is something in the crypto world, but it's also something in the traditional banking sector as well. So we need to probably, I guess, be aware that it doesn't matter whether the space is regulated or it isn't regulated. This shit happens regardless. And you know, it seems very apparent to me that people in positions of power within governments, you know, they're getting paid. You know, they're getting money for it, and it's as corrupt as the actual banking sector itself, in my opinion. But you know, we've seen what the SEC general counsel has left, and you know, we don't really know the true reasoning behind it. But this was somebody that was wined and dined by FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yep, a little bit of in-depth knowledge here about Mr. Berkowitz. Did you know that he was formerly the Commissioner of Commodities and Future Trading?
Yeah, like I'm aware of that. I just, yeah, it's so at least it appears to be, trying to be careful with my words here. It appears to be very like underhand when it comes to the tactics and stuff that he used.
The key snippet that sticks out here to me like a sore thumb is our good old friend SE Chair Gary Gensler. And his actual words right here were, "I am grateful for Dan's exceptional public service and his dedication to the agency." Yet he's potentially been wined and dined by FTX and another one of our good old friends, Mr. SBF.
Yeah, like, it's mad. But you know, top deputies, you know, were former regulators within the FTX saga. So, you know, look, there was lots of whining and dining going on. There was probably a lot of bribery going on. But right at the head of it is Gensler.
Yep.
And for me, like, we need to be asking questions of Gary Gensler, and you know, why is all this stuff happened under his leadership, right? Or lack of leadership, depending on how you want to look at it. For me, it's just not acceptable. You know, I expect more from the SEC and these regulators. I kind of feel like they've really let down investors. They haven't stuck to their own mission statements. It's just an epic failure when it comes to looking at, you know, 2 of the 3 bullet points as part of their mission statement. I mean, BlockFi, and I talk about this a lot, they find BlockFi, and they're going to be ahead of retail investors when it comes to getting a payout, because they're still owed money for that fine, for breaching, you know, I guess rules that wasn't keeping investors safe. They should write that debt off, in my opinion, because, you know, if you don't, then you haven't really got that best interest at heart of the actual retail investors.
So I was just quickly reading through the article we had picked up earlier there, and a few of the paragraphs really stick out, and they will make you laugh to an extent here. So the details of the conversations between 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 and SBF are unclear, but there are emails that have been unveiled. The FTX covered the bill. They then asked for $50 from 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 to help out with the bill. So if this isn't showing trouble with an exchange who asked for $50 to help cover a dinner at what's apparently a lavish Indian restaurant in Washington, D.C., you know what I mean? This all just screams out a disgrace.
Yeah, it's laughable. The one thing I think it will do is it will make a great Netflix series or
Definitely.
a film for sure. But like Gary Gensler's come out and said that there's no new crypto regulation required for crypto right now. I am like, really confused. I personally think there needs to be new leadership at the SEC and some of these other regulator I guess companies. I don't know what you would call them, but yeah, look, I think there needs to be new leadership across the board when it comes to this sort of stuff. And instead of being reactive, which is all they seem to be, it's all like, oh shit, investors lost a lot of money, like this is probably the biggest fraud in history. We should probably put some new processes in place. It really should be your job to, I guess, review the space and put those processes in place so this shit doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Be proactive in the space, protect the people who you say you are protecting. As the SEC, protect investors, live up to what it is you're set out to do. Get rid of Gary Gensler. Personally think it is a matter of time. I don't see Gary Gensler being in that position for all too long, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. If markets fall, which we're expecting to fall, the likes of the 3Gs, sorry, I don't see the other 2Gs, Gary Gensler, still being in a position there.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I feel that the time has come, the time has gone, and change is required. Yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Is it time for Gensler to move on? And is there, I guess, the possibility of details coming out around his involvement with everything that's happened with FTX? Because I think the people have the right to know, is there something there or is there not? Like, is Gary Gensler corrupt and part of the problem, or is he like legitimately just bad at his job? Because I think they're really just the two options. Like, that's just my opinion.
Let us know as well in the comments below if the Netflix documentary does get made. Which, another thing I'd like to quickly touch on there, I did read that SBF met with the makers of the film that Mike spoke about before.
Oh, The Big Short.
The Big Short. Apparently, SBF has met with the makers of The Big Short previously before he got put in jail. But anyway, in the comments below, let us know, who would you guys have play SBF in the documentary? Personally, I would have John C. Reilly, because I love John C. Reilly and I think he would do it wonderfully. But yeah, let us know. Who would you have, Chris?
Oh, I really don't know. What's the guy that plays Elf?
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that's who I'd have. Like, yeah, just because I think it'd be funny.
Yeah, that's exactly. I would like to see a comical side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because it's bad and you shouldn't laugh, but like, I think it's really, if you go back and you look back, I do think it's all really obvious. Not all of it, to the extent, but like a lot of it was really obvious. And the fact that he, basically described a Ponzi scheme, when he was talking about FTT. Yeah, look, going back and having hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? But yes, it's been interesting to watch everything sort of unfold, really.
It definitely has been, but yeah, watch this space, because obviously there is still more to come from everything that is going on with SBF, the SEC, Coinbase. God, we could sit here all day rhyming it
Yeah.
off, the 3Gs, but just really stay engaged in the space right now. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. I mean, if we go back, months, I mean, a number of months, you would have heard me saying, stay engaged in the bear market. It's so important. The people that have left are going to come back and they'll be like, what's happened to my 𝗓𝗓𝗓? What's happened to my FTT?
Why can't I log into my Voyager account?
Yeah. Or what's happened? Why is my Celsius stuff locked up if they haven't noticed? And this is why it's really important to, keep an eye on, the teams that you're invested in, right? Because you're not just investing in the coin. Everybody gets these coins and like, oh yeah, I've got like all these coins, but really you're investing in a team, a vision, the project, the tech, like everything. And you have a right, and this is what a lot of people don't seem to understand. And when I say a lot of people, I mean, like, I don't feel that the teams themselves always understand, and investors don't understand, probably because the teams don't understand. You've got a right to ask questions. Like, I think it's healthy. If I invest my money in, say, you, JB, you run a project, you run a big crypto project, and I invest in you and your team, like, I should be able to go into your Telegram group and ask difficult questions like, how came you didn't hit your, Q1 roadmap targets? Why didn't you achieve them? More importantly, what are your plans to get those over the line? How do you mitigate, not hitting your Q2 targets? I think these are tough questions at points, but they need to be asked. Why haven't you got dates on your roadmap? Can we get some dates on there that we can hold you accountable to? I don't understand, like, your place in the market. Can you explain it? Are you working with any cybersecurity companies? I notice you've got a bridge. Like, how do we know that that's kept secure? These are all things that I think we should be asking project teams. I really do.
These are all things that we have been asking also. Check out the interviews that Cheeky Crypto's been putting out here in the podcast channel and on the main channel. We have the higher ups of these projects coming on, and we are asking these questions. And believe it or not, they've all been happy to answer them. Full clarity, nothing hidden. This is what's happening here. This is a roadmap. This is what's going on here. This is where we're going here. So we are actually now at the point we're getting these exciting projects on. We've had Giro Wallet. We're getting all different aspects on here. We're asking these questions and the guys are happy to answer. So for me, it's installing confidence, because these guys, they're not hiding anything from you. They're telling you literally to our faces as we interview them what's going on. So ask the questions. Chris is 100% right. You have the right as an investor to ask questions about what you're investing in.
Yeah, and I think it's always a red flag for me if somebody isn't willing to answer the questions, publicly or behind closed doors. If they're not open to the questioning, then for me, they're just not worth my investment. Like, and we've seen this. We asked questions of refinance, and the team was just not willing to answer the question. So we took out our investment. 2 weeks later, the team ballsed up with Alameda Research. Like, there's a lot of history with Alameda Research and FTX, excuse me. We were thankful that we got out, because Alameda just dumped all of those coins on the market.
You guys seem to have this touch with certain projects. You pulled your funds out of Reef, it collapsed. You start talking about Bonk and it's went on a bloody 30,000% gain in the last 7 days since you guys started mentioning it on Twitch. What's next? Tell us. Let us know.
Hypercycle. There we go. That's the next one.
Yes. Check out the Discord for Hypercycle. There's a lot of good news coming out there. It's involved with the private sale within the channel. So obviously you need to have a Cheekyverse NFT or a cheeky race suit from the 𝗕𝗪𝗃𝗪𝗧 game to get access to this part of the Discord channel. But yeah, some exciting news coming out about Hypercycle. So do stay engaged and understand what's going on there. If they don't want to do that, go and look at the project. Plenty of places to find it. Go and look at Hypercycle.
Yeah, it's definitely a future project. Obviously we're talking about seed round here. So yeah, look, it's it's a real early stage, but the technology and what they're looking to do is
For,
just
for me, it's the
mind-blowing.
team. As soon as you see Dr. Ben Goertzel on the board of a team, so high on a team, just look at his track record. Go and look at what Dr. Ben Goertzel's done, the projects he's involved in, and it fills you with enough confidence to know that for starters, before you even look at it, you're looking at a good solid project there.
Yeah, I think so. So I think we'll probably look to sort of close the stream. Have you got any sort of closing thoughts before we do?
Yeah, first of all, just risk management as always. If you're trading, tight stop loss, make gains, stay safe in the space. And a big shout out to Mike, who obviously couldn't make it today. Fortunately, his partner has hurt herself, so yeah, we do wish her a speedy recovery. I'll catch you in the next one, guys.
Yeah, and yeah, I echo what you're saying there as well, JB. But yeah, look, onwards, upwards. 2023 is going to be a huge year for opportunities, and it's super exciting. So yeah, let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss another video, and we will catch you in the next one. Take care.